many of you were taught growing up that if you worked hard, kept your head down, delivered good results, success would follow? I've been in rooms filled with brilliant, hardworking, talented people still waiting, still wondering what they're missing. Well, what they're missing is a framework. It's called Own Your Seat at the Table. Welcome back to Michelle's Seat at the Table. This is a podcast about leadership, community, and the conversations that shape us. Life is not just about the destination, but it's about the richness that's found in our stories and our journey. Today, I'm doing a solo episode. So to start, I want to ask a question. I want you to be honest with yourself. How many of you were taught growing up, whether it's in school, early in your career, that if you worked hard, kept your head down, delivered good results, success would follow? Well, that was me. And that advice is partially right. I've been in rooms filled with brilliant, hardworking, talented people who are doing the right thing every day and still watching opportunities go to someone else, still waiting, still wondering what they're missing. What they're missing is a framework. And today I want to share a framework that I've built to help each of you own your seat at the table. The OWN framework is built on 3 pillars and 3 strategic domains where you actually move the needle on your career. The framework is applicable whether you're in corporate America, you're an entrepreneur, or a community leader. So let me walk you through it. The first pillar is O, own your narrative. This is about authoring your story. You're the leader, and you get to tell that story. That's not for others to decide. The W pillar is for win your visibility. That's about being seen and heard to the people that matter. Your work doesn't speak for itself. You have to make sure the right people see your impact. And the third pillar is N for navigate your network. That's about building momentum and the human infrastructure that carries your name forward. You need people in the rooms to advocate for you where you're not there. So the OWN framework is built on these 3 pillars. The first pillar, as I said, O, own your narrative. That's your narrative to tell. It's not others to author. And most of us are waiting for someone to notice us, to tell our story, to connect dots on our behalf. That's not a strategy. That's hope. And you know what? Hope is not a career plan. Own your narrative has 3 dimensions: clarity, articulation, and intentionality. The clarity piece, that's the internal work, and that has to come first. You can't tell a story that you haven't figured out on your own. So I want to share something a little bit personal. I had sponsors during my career, people who were ready to champion me. And when they asked me, how can I help? What's next for you, Michelle? I gave them vague answers, unspecific answers, something that sounds like, I'm open. I'm interested in a new challenge. I'm interested in trying something new. Well, that goodwill went underused, not because people didn't want to help, but because I hadn't done the clarity work. I didn't give them enough. I had spent years building a diverse skill set, a talented career, doing different types of roles. But when it came down to asking for support, I was all over the place. Clarity is not selfish. Clarity is a gift to every person who wants to help and be in your corner. It has to be specific and it has to be actionable. The second part is articulation, and that's the external work. Clarity trapped in your head does nothing. You have to say it out loud. You have to be compelling. You have to be memorable and in the right length for the moment. So what does that mean? You need a short version and you need a longer version. And you have to practice until it sounds like you on your best day, not a rehearsed pitch. And here's the key word, repeatable. It has to be repeatable. It has to be memorable. Your sponsors, your partners, potential clients, they need to be able to retell your story in rooms that you're not in. And if they can't remember it, they can't repeat it. If they can't repeat it, they can't advocate for you. And the third part is intentionality. Owning your narrative is strategic work, but you have to adapt it and do so wisely. The second pillar is W, win your visibility. And that's about being heard and seen by the people that matter. One of the biggest myths in professional life, in my experience, is that my work will speak for itself. It does not. Your work is often silent. You are the one who has to make sure that the right people see it actively, strategically, and consistently. When your visibility has 3 dimensions, it's your voice, showcasing your work, and your presence. Now, your voice, be heard in rooms that you're already in. Speak up, use your voice. So here's a pattern that I see consistently. Brilliant women who over-prepare for meetings and under-contribute to them. I am guilty. I have been one of those people in the rooms too. We draft the talking points, we have insights, then we wait. We wait for the right moment, for permission, or for someone to ask. But here's the thing. The right moment is in the first 5 minutes. Speak first, not to hear your voice and your self-talk, but because your insights matter. And silence is being read as something. It's being read as agreement or disagreement, or even worse, not having a point of view. So the next meeting you're in, say something in the first 5 minutes, not a status update, but an insight. And the second dimension is showcase your work and expand your visibility, because visibility beyond your immediate team or your immediate circle is not bragging, it's strategy. Present to leadership, volunteer for cross-functional projects, community gatherings. Raise your hand for the high-profile assignment, even when you think you're not 100% ready, because here's the truth. You will learn, you will grow, and the right people will see you doing it. And the third point, the third dimension is presence. It's about how you register as a leader when seen. Executive presence is not performance. It's not about turning yourself into something that you're not. It's the signal you send before you say a single word. It's how you enter a room, how you hold your ground in a difficult conversation, how you respond when you're being challenged. You're always broadcasting something, but the question is, are you intentional about what you're sending? Because in every single room, people are making assessments. And you have far more control over those assessments than you might think. The third pillar is navigate your network. That's about building advocacy. It's advocacy and having people carry your name forward. You need people in rooms that you're not in, advocating on your behalf. You cannot do it alone. Full stop. Your network is your net worth. Your network is not a nice to have. And in this area, there are 3 dimensions to navigating your network. They're knowing who your mentors versus your sponsors are, cultivation, and reciprocity. So mentors versus sponsors, you have to understand the difference here. And I did a podcast episode in season 1 about mentors and sponsors. A mentor gives you advice, insights, and guidance, but a sponsor advocates for you. A sponsor talks about you in rooms that you're not in. When your name comes up for an opportunity you don't even know exists, a sponsor is the one who says, her, absolutely her, Michelle, for that job. They use their political capital on your behalf. Women are disproportionately over-mentored and under-sponsored. And the Harvard Business Review did a study to show and that study showed 76% of professionals believe that having a mentor is important, while only 54% of them actually have a mentor. If you're a woman or if you're a person of color, these rates are even lower. We have plenty of people giving us advice. We often don't have enough people putting their name on the line for us. So ask yourself right now, who's in a room somewhere, anywhere, speaking your name? If you can't answer that question clearly, that's your next priority. The second dimension is cultivation. This is actively building those sponsorship relationships because they don't happen by accident. They're built with intention. So identify who in your circle, who has the access and influence that you need. Approach them authentically. It shouldn't be transactional. Invest genuinely and build those relationships, those partnerships over time, and know what you bring to the relationship. Sponsorship is not charity. It's reciprocal. It's a relationship not a transaction. And the third dimension is reciprocity. Pay it forward. Once you have your seat at the table, pull out a chair for someone behind you. Speak their names in rooms. Recommend someone for an opportunity. Write an email. Make the introduction. That's how your network compounds over time. That's how your legacy extends far beyond your own advancement. You become the sponsor you needed when rising. So think of the own pillars as the what you're building and the dimensions as the how you're building it. So here's what I know. After over 25 years in corporate America and watching countless bright men and women settle for less than they deserve, your career is not built on what you do. It's built on how you show up and who sees your impact. And what matters right now, because there are rooms you're not in where decisions are being made about your future, your advancement, your visibility, your next opportunity. The work you do matters. Your expertise matters, but your story, the way you show up and the way you're seen, the way you're known, that's what creates momentum. So I'm asking you, don't wait for permission. Don't wait for someone else to tell your story, to tell your value. Own it. Win your visibility. Navigate your network. That's how you own your seat at the table. And when you do, when you step into that ownership, you don't just change your own trajectory. You become the person that pulls other women, other men behind you. You become the sponsor, become the voice in the room. Extend your impact far beyond yourself. The seat was always yours. Now it's time to own it. If this resonated with you, share it with a friend or a colleague. If you're leading a team, running an organization, or part of a community that needs this conversation, I want to bring this to you. So whether it's a keynote, a workshop, or a series for your leadership development, let's talk. Connect with me. Until next time, remember, the most important conversations don't always happen in the boardroom. They happen right here at the table.
Thank you for listening. And if this podcast episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend. Invite them to the table. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to this podcast on your favorite platform.